I want to thank Tommy Pallotta for taking time out of his very busy schedule at South by Southwest to come down here. Tommy, good to see you again.
Good to see you, man.
There is a lot to talk about. So what brings you to South by Southwest this year?
Showing a little movie called American Prince, and also just a good chance to come down and be your guest.
Well, it's great to have you here. You say a little film. You said, I'm just doing a little documentary about some guy about a year and a half ago, and then you guys invited me down to the premiere Saturday night, and it was just amazing. And then they aired kind of the part one to it, I guess from the 70s, and that was American Boy. So tell folks about the film.
Well, the film is it's really more of a portrait of a person named Stephen Prince. And in 1977, Martin Scorsese filmed a documentary just about him. It was just a really personal documentary, and it's kind of the lost Scorsese film. I was living in Texas over 10 years ago, and I actually ran into the guy who's the subject of that film. He's also the gun salesman and Taxi Driver. He's Easy Andy, the one who sells the guns to Travis Bickle. And I instantly recognized him. And just over the years, we sort of had a friendship, and he started telling me these really great stories, and I realized that there's basically a second chapter to this guy's story. And so I made this video in hopes that the first film that Scorsese made would actually get a proper release.
You know, we could YouTube it. We have it on DVD somewhere in the office, but we could YouTube. What would be the best term to pull up YouTube, his scene in Waking Life, which is a reenactment of something that really happened to him, where the big Indian comes to the door at the gas station with a knife and he shoots him with a .44.
I'm not sure. I mean, people always tag it with different things.
Probably Stephen Prince, Waking Life.
Yeah, try that. I mean, we should try it.
Yeah, try that, folks. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, I mean, initially, we had him... The Scorsese film has been sought by filmmakers for many, many years. And it's basically through bootleg copies, and now, you know, with BitTorrent and YouTube, it's getting a sort of a second life. And then the thought with this was to sort of bring him back and have him show really what his influence in American cinema is.
But you guys found a great copy.
Oh yeah, well we got
original.
We got an original from him, but we actually downloaded a BitTorrent that looked even better. So
good. Tell us about how you're releasing this film.
Well, you know, I mean, right now it's kind of a Hail Mary moment in sort of film distribution. I was living in LA and I got a little bit tired of that. And now I'm currently living in Amsterdam, trying to look for new ways to sort of make films and distribute them. And one thing I've always been really aware of are the films that you've been making and other like-minded individuals, and how you've been utilizing the internet to sort of gain an audience. And that's becoming more and more interesting to me than the sort of traditional distribution methods.
And you've been saying that for a decade. It's not like you're just coming up with what I did. I mean, you've always been into that too. Yeah,
well, I mean, the technology and storytelling have always been my twin interest. And finding new ways to just basically express yourself. You know, freedom of expression is really the main tenet of life, I believe. And trying to make, you know, I really like making studio films, but at the same time, I want to be able to make smaller films that can still reach an audience. And now it seems like it's the perfect time to do that. I mean, never before in my lifetime has it been so easy to disseminate information and entertainment.
And Rick Linklater's in your film doing some of the interview with Mr. Prince as well. I mean,
yeah.
I was not familiar with his work. I knew the character from some of the films he was in, but just amazing life this guy's had, and it's been just as amazing since then.
Yeah. So Richard Linklater is a good friend of mine. Of course, I produced Scanner Darkly and Waking Life, which you both were in, and I knew I needed somebody who had fresh ears. Because I'd sort of rehearsed with Stephen for many times. I needed somebody who really knew a lot about film and who that he respected. So Rick was visiting LA one night, and we just sort of really grabbed a crew together in a couple of hours and just shot this movie literally in 5 hours.
Well, it looks great, and you kind of had a congruent thread there where in the interview with Scorsese, he's got some girls behind him smoking cigarettes, and it's
right.
Kind of the same deal here.
Yeah, you know, it takes place in one room, and it's one person talking, and it's one night, and that's a really hard thing to sort of pull off an entertaining movie, experience with just those limitations. But that also was a real challenge. The real advantage that we had is that we were able to cut in these other films that he had been in. And so he's talking about movies, and the movies are kind of acting as his memory.
New York. The
Last Waltz, American Boy, Taxi Driver.
Well, I mean, there were a lot of critics there and a lot of directors, and they got a standing ovation. They really liked it.
Yeah, it's a pretty. It was pretty nice to do the Q&A afterwards. Steven is actually there, and he'll be there Tuesday morning. We're doing our second screening at 11 o'clock at the Alamo Lamar.
Yeah, Alamo South Lamar.
Yeah, South Lamar, and he just really handled himself really well. And there's a lot of filmmakers really. He's just a cult figure. And so,
and he lives between Austin and L.A. too, so he's in Austin.
Yeah, he's lived here for many years, and he spends most of his time in L.A. But he's here now, so we're very lucky to have him.
Oh, he's quite a character.
Yeah, he is. Did we find anything on YouTube with him? Or
we'll see if we can find that later. Or
there's even some of American Boy on YouTube.
Yeah, you might try shooting. Or shoot gun scene waking life. I bet that would bring it up, guys. If not, there's a couple of DVDs back there in the back. But now, so when are you planning to release this?
Well, I mean, we opened it up at the festival. It's a good way to sort of give it some legitimacy. And the next thing I really want to do is release it BitTorrent. And just sort of see if it can have its life on its own. I mean, I'm a big fan of BitTorrent. I'm an avid user of that technology, and really watching kind of how you've been able to really gain an audience using these different platforms like BitTorrent and YouTube and Google Video and all these other things. It's really impacted me in a very profound way, and I feel like that's something that I really want to be a part of.
Well, I'm glad I'm a part of it in a small way, Tommy. What's the date? Are you planning a date to release it on BitTorrent next few weeks, next month?
I think probably in a week or so. As soon as I can, I basically just have to get it together. I want to put together a nice little written explanation of why we're doing this.
So in the next 2 to 3 weeks, look for American Prince on a computer screen near you.
Yeah, on BitTorrent.
Yeah, we love that BitTorrent. So does Burmese. Burmese can get you anything you want off the BitTorrent, including movies 6 months before they're out.
Well, it's really great. I might have talked about this last time I was here, but I went to Korea, and we were showing a Scanner Darkly there. And in Korea, everybody downloads. And I asked the audience how many people had seen Scanner Darkly already, and everybody raised their hands. Everybody had already downloaded and watched it, yet everybody paid to come see the movie and to see it the way that it was meant to be seen. And that was a real epiphany for me. And I mean, obviously, every time you go to the Alamo and do a screening, it sells out. You're able to sell DVDs. I mean, it doesn't exclude people from seeing, and
yeah, really what it does is empower the grassroots, but also even big filmmakers. And I never intended to make it a successful a vehicle, to be able to finance my whole operation. But that's what it turned into, just because I would make little shorts and documentaries and things, and I wanted to warn people. I wanted to get my message out, and so people really embraced that. Going back now, I've been putting viral videos out for 12 years. Yeah, and we also kind of pioneered going up and confronting politicians, kind of aggressive press questions, and now that's proliferated all over the world. And so without knowing that we were part of people pioneering that, we have done that. And it just the problem is now Obama, this is in Wired Magazine Friday, is trying to sign a secret treaty to ban BitTorrent and peer-to-peer type stuff.
Well, I mean, they can try, but I kind of feel like you've opened up Pandora's box. And
I think we've all done it. So
yeah, I mean, you look at what's going on with Pirate Bay right now, and there's a big trial with that. And at the worst case scenario, they close down that site, another one's just going to pop up. So the great thing about the internet is that it is pretty hard to shut down.
Well, there's also this new phenomenon of people wanting to put their films out this way.
Exactly.
So that's totally legal.
There's different types of commodity. I mean, the film that I'm doing it's a very limited audience, very niche. It's really for people who love film and love film history and things like that. So it's not like it has real big mainstream crossover appeal. So for me, gaining the audience is the most important thing for me. Getting the people to actually see the film is really the best reward. And not only is there that reward, but then it has the best chance of actually becoming financially successful, I think, is the chance. We've got to break. We'll be right back with Tommy Pallotta on the other side of this break. The new film premiering on the internet in a few weeks is American Prince. Stay with us.